Welcome back to the magnificent Daytona Sandown Park once again for race 4 of the Elite Karting Series around one, where we are using the Grand Prix layouts of the circuit. Race 4 is an exciting prospect with Olly Smith on pole position, going 5 tenths faster than Karlis Elmanis in that last race, who shares row 1 with him. Dickinson and Louis Draper make up row 2, with Ollie Cooper-Welton and Chris Phillips only 8 tenths of a second back, both of them from the pole time. Just how close this is, but they have to settle for row 3. Adrian Perez-Soroso is continuing his debut race in the EKS on row 4, alongside Luca Nick, who has done some very interesting racing throughout the course of the day. Then on the next row is Miles Harding and Henry Walter. Miles doing a really good job finding pace throughout the course of this round. Andy Leister and Yachi Low make up the rest of the grid. Here they come then. Olly Smith is on pole position as we go down into the final few corners here at Daytona Sandown Park. Karlis Elmanis this time though has got himself onto the front row, and if you know anything about Karlis, it's that he's 100% going to try and take this lead by any means necessary down into turn 1. The first thing is though that he's going to have to nail this race start. Let's wait and see as they roll around the final corner. We get ready to take the green flag for race 4 here of the day, and it's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start for Olly Smith. Karlis looks to the right hand side to see Craig Dickinson take the spot down into turn 1. Craig looking to attack Olly Smith as well. Karlis loses 2 positions as Louis Draper goes through up into 3rd. Ollie Cooper-Welton actually up into 3rd himself. So there's so many drivers making up positions. Ollie loses out once more to Karlis Elmanis. So now it's Karlis in 3rd. The order across the line is Olly Smith from Karlis Elmanis, from Craig Dickinson. Karlis now trying to get himself past Craig. Down the inside he goes as Luca Nick is overtaken by Adrian Perez, and Karlis Elmanis is able to find a way through, so he's back into 2nd position. Not the ideal start for him. Ollie Cooper-Welton now putting the pressure on Craig Dickinson himself, trying to get up into 3rd position, albeit with a bit of a bump, is able to find his way through. Luca Nick now has a fantastic view of that, as well as a fantastic view of Chris Phillips, who he tries to get through. Is that Karlis through into the lead of the race by the looks of things? I think it is. What an incredible first lap. Luca Nick back down the inside, getting himself up and through into another spot. So Luca Nick gets through past Chris Phillips. Karlis Elmanis gets through past Olly Smith, and that has been a hectic first lap of racing.
Yeah, it's still unfolding now, so Adrian Perez is side by side with Ollie Cooper-Welton as they head down now into turn number 2. Luca Nick also goes up the inside of Craig Dickinson, so there's still loads of action unfolding here. Looks like Adrian Perez has now managed to get ahead of Ollie Cooper-Welton as he looks up Adrian's inside on the exit of turn 3, but isn't quite able to get past. Now Luca Nick going up behind Ollie Cooper-Welton as they head through turn number 4, and now into turn 5. Luca Nick, he's going up the inside, so Luca Nick now, he's up the inside of Ollie Cooper-Welton, and I think that he's now up into 6th position. Ollie Cooper-Welton looking to get the cut back here on Luca Nick as he goes up the inside of Adrian Perez. There's so much action unfolding here. Luca Nick, he's now up the inside as you've got Ollie Cooper-Welton at the inside of Adrian Perez too. Adrian Perez, I think he's managed to get back past Ollie Cooper-Welton, and now we have got Luca Nick in 4th place ahead of Adrian in 5th and Ollie Cooper-Welton in 6th.
Luca Nick went very, very deep into the hairpin, but the way that corner works is you go straight into the left-hander, you then slow down right onto the apex of that next corner, so going deep actually allowed him to get that position, and that's a fantastic move from Luca. He moves into 4th, as Luke just mentioned. Adrian Perez, though, will be trying to get past him as soon as possible. Karlis Elmanis controlling the race ahead of Olly Smith, but we'll see how Ollie is able to respond to Ollie Cooper-Welton. A bit of contact there as here goes Adrian around the outside of Luca Nick, tries to set himself up to cross the lines over, but can't quite do so. Ollie Cooper-Welton, I said, with a fantastic view of this. He has to go defensive himself though down into that final corner. I don't think he's going defensive. I think he's found the dry patch actually on the racetrack. Now looks to try and get himself ahead of Adrian Perez, who got it all wrong for a moment. Through the final corner we go. Ollie Cooper-Welton looking to attack Adrian Perez, but right now can't find a way through. Adrian Perez does a good enough job of defending into that final corner and gets the exit as well. That's another thing I've noticed here. Luke, not necessarily the drivers have been able to find that exit out of the final corners and get themselves and propel themselves down the straight to make a move.
It's very tricky indeed. Like you say, there's wet patches all over this circuit, so it's difficult to get the right line and get power down on exit, as we see Ollie Cooper-Welton now right behind Adrian Perez. They've then got Chris Phillips right behind them, so this is a good battle here unfolding for P5. Shout out, by the way, to Louis Draper as Ollie Cooper-Welton goes up the inside of Adrian Perez, going through turn 5. Louis doing a really good job here, up into third place, only his second time ever at Sandown Park. Now Ollie Cooper-Welton up the inside into turn 6, up the inside of Adrian Perez, and now Adrian on the outside. He's still there on the left hand side as they go side by side, going through the penultimate corner. Adrian Perez has just about managed to hold on to P5 there, but he is under attack from both Ollie Cooper-Welton and Chris Phillips.
Here goes Ollie then, once again trying to find his way through, but again into Vale. The wet patches just mean that the exit is not necessarily there. The lines they're experimenting with through there really showing a difference between the two drivers. Adrian Perez doing a fantastic job of holding on to that 6th position for the time being. Luke and Nick, actually for my liking, is trying to catch up to Louis Draper and has caught up a little bit, but as I said, getting the consistent pace here is very, very tricky. Ollie Cooper-Welton then gaining time. He's only now about 3 car lengths or so behind that car just ahead of Adrian Perez, and sends a move down the inside. He experimented a couple of laps ago with that dry patch and gets all the grip in the world, but Adrian Perez just on that outside finds a little bit more momentum. Out of the final corner they go on the run down into Vale. Ollie Cooper-Welton not able to find a way through. He stays a couple of car lengths behind. And obviously the way this works is Adrian goes very, very deep and there's contact between the two of them. He apologises. Ollie Cooper-Welton, he might apologise, but it's not going to stop him going down the inside as they stay side by side. Adrian just about holds onto the spot. And I think there, Luke, nothing to call there, just a bit of a racing incident given the way that those lines work.
Yeah, it was a bit of a heavy contact there, but yeah, it was kind of just a situation where 2 different wet lines were crossing over. So yeah, Adrian Perez holding on to P5. I think he put his hand up as well to thank Ollie for kind of not going past there. So good racing there between Adrian Perez-Sorozo and Ollie Cooper-Welton, as Ollie's now back up the inside. He keeps crossing lines, doesn't he, going through turn 6 with Adrian Perez. It keeps looking like he's going for a move. They're taking 2 very different lines, but Adrian is holding on for P5 at the moment. And Luke and Nick now, he's going for the move on Louis Draper, going down into turn 1 into Vale. Luke and Nick, he is up the inside of Louis Draper. This is a battle for P3. Luke is still up the inside as they head now down into turn 2. Can Luke complete the move? Yes, he can indeed, as we see on the static camera them 2 going past. Luke and Nick has indeed managed to make the move stick now and is up into P3. So Luke and Nick here, a regular in the Sandown D-Max Super Champs Championship. Only recently stepped up to D-Max karts, was racing Sodies up until the end of last year. So Luke is doing a great job here of getting used to D-Max karts, and he's doing now a great job racing in P3.
Luke and Nick making his way down into the final corner. He's really been trying to push on in this race, and he's pushed on a little bit too much, hits a wet patch and goes round into the barrier, rejoins safely, and that's very, very close with, I believe, Adrian Perez or Ollie Cooper-Welton trying to get through. I think it was Adrian who now looks to get through and does. So Luke and Nick loses 2 positions by the looks of things. No, just the 1, might be 2 now, as out of the final corner goes Ollie Cooper-Welton. That's a dramatic moment near the end for that kart. Luke and Nick, I'll be so disappointed. He's been driving so well, makes a bit of a rare mistake, Luke.
Yeah, I think he just got caught out there going into that into the turn 6. Just got caught out by that wet patch then, and yeah, he went on the brakes. So now Luke and Nick right behind Adrian Perez-Sorozo. They've then got Ollie Cooper-Welton behind them and Chris Phillips not far behind. So this is a 4-way battle here for P4. Louis Draper obviously has managed to get away because of this now, and is now in a comfortable P3. But Ollie Cooper-Welton now looking at the inside of Luke and Nick as they head through turn number 5. Now going onto the back straight. These 2 are crossing over with their lines, now going into turn 6. You've got Luke and Nick on the inside of Adrian Perez, and he's now side by side as Adrian managed to hold on to P5 for the time being, or P4 should I say. Luke and Nick in P5 as they come out of the final corner. Can Luke and Nick get a good run on Adrian Perez-Sorozo, going down the start, finish straight as they head down into turn 1. They are really very close indeed. Now Luke and Nick looking at the inside, going through Val, not quite able to make it stick though, nearly made contact there as they got through the middle part of the corner. But Luke and Nick is currently in P5 and he's still behind Adrian Perez.
Luca isn't quite able to find a way through just yet. As I said, he'll be frustrated with himself for that, but plenty of time to get back into this one. Adrian Perez proving a tough customer to get past though. This has all promoted Louis Draper into 3rd as well. That's something that I think I've neglected to mention so far. Karlis and Ollie pretty spread apart at the moment as well. I should mention that Karlis heading onto the exit of Vale, Ollie, just crossing the start-finish lines. That should give you an idea of the gap between those two drivers heading into what won't be the penultimate lap of the race, but just the one before that. So that gives, by my liking, 3 laps from here for Luca Nick to try and get through, and he's got a run on Adrian Perez. Down into Vale they go. Adrian moves late. That was a very, very aggressive defence, just on the line of what I think is acceptable from Adrian Perez. However, it's worked for him.
I think it's a bit over the line, to be honest, that defence. That was a little bit too late of a move there by Adrian Perez. It was quite dangerous, actually, because Luca nearly had an overlap. And actually, whilst that was happening, Ollie Smith, he's been overtaken there by Chris Phillips. And Chris Phillips now, he's up into P6 ahead of the Sandown regular in Ollie Cooper Wilton. Ollie actually used to manage this circuit back in the late 1990s, as he's now back up the inside of Chris Phillips. So yeah, Ollie knows this track like the back of his hand, and he's battling out here with Chris Phillips. And you can see up in the top right hand corner, whilst that's unfolding, we've also got a battle still unfolding for P4 between Adrian Perez and Luca Nick, as Ollie Cooper Wilton looks at the inside of Chris Phillips going into turn 6. Not quite able to make it stick though, as their two lines cross over on exit. And yeah, these two battles very much still unfolding as we enter what is, I believe, the penultimate lap of the race.
Yes, because Karlis is making his way onto the back straight now, so he'll be crossing the line to take the last lap board. In fact, he'll take the last lap board here, and then it will be one final lap when he crosses the line. Everyone's found that inside line, by the way, into the hairpin. That's sort of been what's been unfolding, as the rain has ceased a little bit, which means it should be drying up over the course of the rest of the evening. You would hope. Luca Nick had a look at Adrian Perez as well a couple of moments ago, but wasn't able to really find a way through, as I believe I also just saw a bit of a battle as Chris Phillips was trying to find his way through, possibly just behind Luca Nick. Here goes Luca onto the outside line. Adrian is able to defend for the time being. Adrian still goes on the defensive, and by the looks of things, Luca Nick is not able to squeeze his way through as they head into what will be their final lap of the race. Karlis Elmanis making his way onto the back straight now to presumably take the checkered flag. Luca still pushing for the win. I believe we'll go picture in picture with this as Luca goes down the inside trying to get himself up into 4th position. Does exactly that. Luca Nick makes his way through, so Karlis Elmanis will be taking victory here. He goes through the final corner now. What a drive it has been for him after a pretty disappointing race 1. Gets through in race 2 and takes the victory. Luca and Adrian still side by side as they head onto the back straight. Luca just about squeezing ahead for the time being. Adrian Perez trying to get back at him no matter whatever is possible, but Luca has the dry inside line into that hairpin, and right now looks like he's held on. He'll go defensive into the final corner, no doubt, and I think with that, Luca Nick is just about able to hold on to that position. What a battle. Race 4 sees Karlis Elmanis go to the top, a dominant victory ahead of Olly Smith. 13.9 seconds, the gap between the two of them. Karlis's pace means he'll be on pole for the next race as well. Louis Draper is in 3rd, a really good result for him, just ahead of Luca Nick, who was only 3.2 seconds down at the line. Adrian Perez making a really good drive up to 5th to round out the top 5. Chris Phillips continues his consistent first round in the EKS, 0.3 of a second behind Adrian, holds off Ollie Cooper Wilton as well. Craig Dickinson, Henry Walter and Miles Harding are the rest of your top 10. A good round for Miles, who was only 0.9 of a second behind Henry at the line. Andy Leicester and Yachi Lowe make up the rest of the grid.
All right, we are joined by Karlis Elmanis. Heading into that final race then, obviously, hopefully it'll be a little bit drier for you because these guys will have gone around again. Do you think you can replicate that performance?
That's a great question. I will do my best. I don't really hope conditions improve that much. I say this is sort of conditions are like tricky. Also my home track. So really, if anything, it plays in my favour. I would like to have closer race. You know, hopefully a bit more closely matched and have nice clean race. Some overtakes and battling. That would be really something I'm looking forward to.
So we're now joined with Louis Draper. Very productive race in 3rd. The next group are just about to start up, so hopefully you can hear my questions. But finishing in 3rd, looks like you're having a pretty entertaining round.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of starts. Dropped a couple of positions, I think. And yeah, I think that's my weak point. I seem to have to make the work again in this race has just gone, and but luckily I gave them 2 positions back that I lost straight away, and then it was quite fun as someone overtook me in the middle of the race, and then they made a mistake in the last corner over here, and I just try not to follow them, and then kept it clean towards the end.